I feel like it's really fun to see, like, there's, you know, on a map like Viaduct, something will always be going on. And guess what's going on right now, man? We're going in right here. Pint Gaming versus Bloodsail Buccaneers. Our first best of 3 of Day 2 of Überfest 2025. And as you can see, we're starting right off with double sniper.
Sniper on either side, both of them electing to go from the cliff area, and so that means you see a pretty passive mid from both sides. Neither team wanting to give immediate positional advantage. So far, it's Andy peeking across and doesn't fight the first shot onto the enemy medic. So that now means that Juno peeks a bit forward. A lot of damage here taken by Smile, who's up on the scout roll instead of the soldier he normally plays. A lot of damage dealt. Neither team really finding much of any kind of position, but there we go. 2 kills now coming in for the Buccaneers means that Juno and Soki blows. 2 players down. That's Mac walking forwards onto Cliff. He's being very aggressive here.
He really is. You do still see Andy trying to get some little sight lines, but actually, they're doing quite a good job on the side of the Buccaneers, just kind of keeping them forced all the way back. And right now, it is just going to be a minute for Pint Gaming. They're going to have to play nice and far back. Uber are in the hands of both teams, and with Bloodsail Buccaneers having control of point, it is going to be an Uber trade all the way over point. There we go. Alien does jump all the way in, does get that force, manages to jump away to some relative safety. As Silves isn't really able to catch anything with the tail enders Uber. Now it's all going to be about this post-Uber fight. Onto point is where Pint Gaming want to go. The body shot onto Junior is going to open things up just a little bit. Not quite that same threat of the sniper, but the fight's going to be on point. Alien does go so weak. They're having to back up on the side of Pint Gaming. But can they possibly go for a bit of a repush? It's difficult with the sniper, surely.
Yeah, Andy really needs to start hitting some headshots and is not quite finding them yet. This is now Pint Gaming losing a lot of time at this point because while they took the trade, it wasn't successful in actually forcing off the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have racked themselves already a minute advantage onto this point. Left is pretty far back and there's a decent amount of spam, but it's Juno. Another headshot comes out onto Warp. Andy yet to replicate the impact that Juno's having immediately, but this is such a weird, scary angle. Andy barely misses that shot onto Eon. He does it again, doesn't quite find it.
We cannot keep peeking the same little sideline. Uber does get used all the way in and just about manages to get off this Uber. Bloodsail Buccaneers, they will have a much better Uber, but Eon is actually really weak at the tail end of this. They're not able to secure any frags here, and the health on the side of the Buccaneers is not looking too good at the minute. They do still have control of point, though. These snipers. Oh, there we go. Andy finally locks in, and a second on the bloke as well. Finally, we've woken up a little bit. Does lose their life eventually, but finally Pint Gaming kind of get into the game.
Yeah, now Juno has to find a lot of work with the sniper. He's going to sort of corral the rest of his team forwards. He's back playing very aggressively up and towards point. Stickies are coming out. Point capture is also sort of slowly being edged across. It's Sail in there on concrete, just finding a lot of damage onto the enemy scout. So that means the Pint Gaming back for now. The enemy team does get the cap, however, it's Sail taken down by Alien. I think maybe there's an angle of attack here for Pint. Juno really needs to start hitting some shots here as well.
No, 100%. Andy getting a second one as well. That's pretty good on the side of Pint. I think it's so crucial getting that first kill onto Sail once they, literally like the second the point was capped, Sail then died and had like a massive like 16-second respawn or something. It's so huge. So Pint Gaming, they are trying to claw themselves back into it. Andy with this aggressive position towards point does make things very difficult, but Uber is going to get used, going to go for another classic little, I would say Viaduct trade. Actually, that's a much later use. Maybe could have used even later again, but they seem pretty content to keep control of point. They do need to secure a frag at some point, and it's actually somehow Alien going down. That's not a great trade in terms of players. The refight might be a little bit difficult.
All the health bars are so low on the Buccaneers side, right? So 2 players falling already. Yunu now does not find that crazy little headshot onto Smile, who does clean him up. And so that means that now Pint Gaming slowly crawling themselves back in onto this round. It's the fight there for the Buccaneers not entirely in their favor. They get that early kill onto Alien, and it looks really good for them. Unfortunately, the bombs come in a little bit desynced, and so now, once again, it is just Pint with control. Andy backed off for now, and Mac really needs to start laying in the damage here. Soldier Bomb coming in behind as well as left. Taking decent amount of damage. Sail edging the point. No sniper shots really being found. 50 damage onto a scout from Yunu, but that is warped, taken down, traded with Silves. Andy bombed and is still alive, but just barely. Forced back onto the cliff, but with left cleaned up, this is suddenly a really hard fight for the Buccaneers team. They have about 10 advantage here, but they're not really using it.
No, headshot is... Oh, and Andy absolutely activates, just domes Eon. That is everything they need right now. You could not ask for a better situation. Mac just about managing to survive, but it doesn't matter. On the side of Pint Gaming, that is everything they wanted. They have 100% Uber advantage. They have almost all of their players alive. They need to just breathe, heal up a second, because in 40 seconds, they could be winning this round.
Yeah, that is such a massive shot there from Andy, really turning the tides. It's a massive ad now as well. The kill onto Sail, suddenly the momentum completely eliminated from Pint. You can see Andy now starting to feel himself a little bit. Another kill onto Mac, and suddenly this is much of the winds out of the sails of the Buccaneers, who have to find some kind of a consolation prize. A single kill onto Soki is fine, but it's just not enough. Yunu now, I think really all eyes on him. He has to be able to counter Andy, who is just on fire right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Took a little while to warm up, but suddenly Andy is hitting these shots, and the rest of Pint Gaming are looking pretty good as well. But we do see the Buccaneers. There we go, one after another. It's a little bit of a dodgy situation to begin with, but getting those early frags, oh so important. So there we go, Pint Gaming. They're right on to overtime at this point, so all they need to do is cap once. But this is Uber advantage, player advantage. This is a lot of different advantages for the Buccaneers. They need a little bit of a perfect hold, and I think once again this might come down to the sniper play, who can hit some of these early crucial shots and make things just a little bit more difficult for Pint Gaming to get towards point.
Every single second that you keep Pint off of the point is absolutely gold here for the Buccaneers. Any kind of shot from Junu to slow the enemy down, slow down this push, this trade that is inevitably kind of going to come out in a second, as Patchouli does reach 100% Uber. You see Smile already edging the point. He knows that's all he needs, and it's an early kill for Addy onto Sil. 7-kill streak now for him, and this is an Uber from the enemy Buccaneers that is not finding that much work. Sail with his medic, but Eon is so low here. You can't let them cap because they are just going to win the round, and unfortunately for the Buccaneers, it starts off so good for them, but heroics from Andy, and that's round number 1 on the board for Pint.
Yeah, I'm going to be 100% real. Like, the first half of that round, I was looking at Andy and I was like, guys, I do not know if this is the best idea. Like, you know, I feel like their fundamentals as a team was shining more than the sniper. But once Andy got about halfway through, warmed up a little bit, locked in, that really was just the difference maker on that round. Going from a 2-minute deficit to winning the round is huge. That has taken completely just like all the momentum from the Buccaneers. This is Pint's game right now.
Buccaneers really needing that strong start today. They did not have a good day one. The mental was kind of crumbling. It was sort of all falling apart. Now it's Andy Sniper shutting down Mac before the mid even starts. And it gets so difficult now for the Buccaneers. Junior doesn't quite find that counter shot onto Patchouli. And so the Buccaneers now are going to have to fight without their demo, without both of their scouts. I think that might just mean the mid over.
Smile.
Eon unprotected by Junu, who's still just not finding the shot. As Smile running forward steals the health back as well. And that is bullying here onto the Buccaneers.
That is such a brutal mid. That's such a, like, insane shot from Andy. It was one of those things where you're like, no, dude, I swear that demo's head was nowhere near the crosshair, but just because of how the hitboxes work, absolutely brutal to lose a life there. Oh my god, okay. Okay, right, we're going to get some frags here, but ultimately, on the side of the Buccaneers, they're not going to complain too much, because as long as the Uber gets forced, they are kind of happy. You can see the rest of the Buccaneers players all the way towards spawn. They're just building, they're trying to get this Uber up, and with this Uber advantage, they should, once they get the players, be able to start moving forward. Still, the constant, ever-present threat of Andy and his sniping, but they do get a bit of an opportunity. Juno is once again on the Pyro, maybe expecting a bit of a forehold. There's only really one soldier here right now, and no one else, and we don't even need the air blast, so we can just kind of stare at them before they leave.
This is now Silves up on the soldier as well. Maybe to break the forward hold, but that's Mac getting picked off by Soki once again. And that means the wind's once again just out of the sails. I keep saying this, but you can't lose Mac in a situation like that. It's so much momentum gone. So Sil's forced to go for some kind of sack in onto the enemy, but goes down way too early. Now is left alone. Hits a nice rocket onto Smile, but it's just not enough here. Junu needs to find a shot. Starts early with a kill onto Alien, but this is warped in on behind as well onto the enemy. It is a complete collapse. Decent damage dealt, but Junu's found the headshot onto Andy. Doesn't quite find the shot onto Patchouli.
No, not this time. So, okay, they get a moment. They get a second to breathe. They will capture point for the first time this round. They will start that clock ticking down. And with an equal Uber, equal player, equal sniper situation, like you said, it's going to be all about if Junior can find any little picks just here and there. Just taking their time. The little peek there. Possibly. Andy might have an angle here, but this is going to be Smile going all the way in. He doesn't want to wait on this trade at all. They do manage to get that one frag there. They have taken a decent amount of damage in. It will be a slightly better Uber for the Buccaneers. Mac really wants to commit off this. Not quite catching this medic, though. Somehow, these players just about surviving. Rogue with the follow-up has been really good, but this is so little health on the side of Pint Gaming. It's going to make it a little bit difficult, but somehow just about keeping control. Junu surely gets nothing.
No.
Okay. For a second, I was like, dude, is he going to hit the nuttiest shot we've seen all LAN? And then it's
insane.
like, nah, it's all good.
You saw it happen before your eyes. That was a really nice surf there from Patchouli. Really did such a good job getting out in main and really sets his team up for success. Now it's bombs onto Cliff, kills onto Sylvs. I think Mac might be soon to follow here. Early kill actually onto Alien. Warp is going down as well. This choke is not going the favor of Pint in the way that they wanted. So now it's Andy still stuck on point, not finding the damage either, as the rest of the Buccaneers collapse in onto him. Do manage to wrest control off the point for now, so they still have a minute advantage, but they're off the point. They have a little bit of an ad, but Sniper down. Not good for the Buccaneers.
No, it's not fantastic. You know, they will get that clock ticking down just a little bit. I like Uber's getting close enough. It's going to be all about this play towards point, really. We are going to be seeing Pint just trying to pickle that point, trying to bring some of these players in. The early frags towards Sylvs is very, very important. Uber does get used. They will just about be getting on the side of Eon. That was a little bit scary just then. But with 2 players down, this is a very, very difficult Uber to try and go aggressive off. So I feel like they're going to have not much choice. Once again losing Mac, I feel like there's just way too many situations. They're just getting absolutely crunched by the warp flank. That is absolutely brutal. They're not going to stand a chance, surely.
It's just Sylvs left alive of an off-class as well. That was such a nice flank by Warp, and you could tell it was driving Sail back. He couldn't figure out whether or not he wanted to go forwards to push or to go back, and so now we see a bit of a pause coming out.
Cheeky little tack pause, you know?
Probably.
Game one of day 2. And yeah, we're already getting ourselves into a pause. Does make you wonder whether that's a little bit of a, guys, we need a breather. We need a moment to relax, because this is the thing with Viaduct, right? Like on Koth maps, there isn't downtime. Because even if you take like 20, 30 seconds to just think about what your game plan is, that's 20, 30 seconds less that the enemy team has to worry about on the clock, right? Like there is no just waiting around. It is just absolutely brutal in that regard.
I really, it's weird, right? You look at this Buccaneers product success that they had online, right? And it really was based off of 2 players. One, it was Sail playing insane. Like better than we've ever seen him play.
Dude just popped off
on the Frenchies and continued on, went like 30-3 against the Frenchies, something like that. I don't remember the exact scoreline. He had like 3 deaths, so I remember that. But a million kills. Sniper of Junu, super effective as well.
Yeah.
And we're just not quite seeing that from them this time around. Sylvs also had a very impressive game on Scout Online. Just not quite seeing that impact. But I think the real diagnosis, to be honest, probably due to a lot of different things, but Mac is just kind of getting caught over and over and over again here.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right in what you're saying, in that like this doesn't feel like the same level of togetherness from the Bloodsail Buccaneers. Like they're not able to play the map exactly the same way. They are losing players as a result, and the casualty often tends to be Mac. I think it's something which they'll be very aware of, and they'll know that they do need to focus on. But there we go, unpaused, we're back in the game. You know, we do have a little bit of an advantage here on the side of Pint Gaming, but Bloodsail Buccaneers are going to be all the way towards point. They're going to be fighting this immediately. Junior once again trying to look for some heads while the fight is happening all towards point. You have these super long angles, but ultimately not really much of a contest on the side of Pint. Point does get capped, but then immediately losing bloke again with a long respawn makes things so difficult.
So now the sniper duel comes out. Junior with the first shot. Quite hit the headshot, so that means that actually Junior just gets taken down by a very nice bomb from Warp. That allows Andy to play with so much more freedom. Immediately capitalizes, gets a headshot onto the scout, quite by the second one, but you can see the pressure is already on. Mac is low and has to walk forward to Eon, stuck behind a corner and just taken down by pipes from Alien. This is a disaster here for the Buccaneers. They do manage to get the force, but look at the timer. It is 17 seconds left and you cannot give an inch. It is left stuck so far forward here, but you just have to bomb the point. 9 seconds, and the Buccaneers have 1 fight to stay in this round.
Yep, this is it. It's all going to come down to these remaining 4 seconds. The frag doesn't really matter. It's going to be all about time on point. They do manage to get a little bit, so they will bring things into overtime. Good damage from Mac, but actually somehow Alien manages to get the frag before losing their own life. Scrappy fights all the way towards point. Sail is starting to hit some shots. But they just didn't stand on it. They couldn't stay on there. It was just too much to ask.
Too many players, unfortunately, on the point. So that means that now Pint Gaming up 2-0 here. The Buccaneers completely feels like, I don't know. This product feels like broken. It showed up. It was very powerful in playoffs. but it feels like Pint Gaming really just have an answer. Wow, the sniper from Andy now. He's not finding every single kill ever, but he is just, you can tell like how he warps the game for the opponents, right?
Yeah.
They really have to respect him, and because of that respect, Pint gets so much extra space to capitalize off of it, and it's so hard for the Buccaneers to play.
Yeah, it is just making things so difficult, and this is just an absolute disaster of a start. They have such an uphill struggle on the side of Bloodsail Buccaneers, but maybe the start of this is dealing with that sniper nice and early. We do see Jack losing his life, but it's still 4 versus 4. There's little opportunities here. There's a lot of pressure towards point on the side of Pint Gaming. But they're just kind of getting frag after frag. Ooh, nice little headshot. But I mean, they can't contest a point. This is all just going to be about whether Junior can hit any shots. This is the moment where we see exactly how aware Pint Gaming are of this sniper. If they're playing correctly, Junior shouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, Junior unfortunately not quite finding the angles. Eon once again testing Andy. Not quite finding the shot, but there's a lot of damage onto Junior as well. Health bars. So the Buccaneers not looking too hot, so they're going to have to retreat for now. About even Ubers, and you want to force them off ASAP! Andy again with another headshot drop onto Eon, and that sets a spanner in the works for the Buccaneers, left unable to find the air shot onto the enemy, and so that means that now, yes, it's Patchouli forced all the way back onto Cliff, but expertly dealing with the aggression. And now Pint Gaming, once again, massive advantage here in the third round.
Yeah, this is basically perfect. That late frag onto Sail, who's on the backlines trying to desperately get onto Patchouli. The fact that Pint Gaming were completely aware of that player and played really nice and smart around that, that is so significant. So now, uber advantage. They have all their players up. They have control over point. This is everything in their favor. They're going to look to try and 3-0 this right now. This is Buccaneers. They have no choice but to go in to try and get some kind of force, some kind of play. Uber does get used, so it doesn't really matter about these remaining players. As long as they don't lose their medic, that's all that matters. And Loke actually managing to get a little pickaxe kill towards the sniper. He's going to make things maybe a little bit easier on the repush, but we've got some long spawns to deal with first. So there we go. Goal achieved for the second. They managed to force off the Uber, but the time is still ticking down. They're going to be up against it.
And Andy's going to be up in time for the push to come out as well. Just spawning now means that Andy is still a threat for this Uber ad push, which they also don't have quite yet, might I add. It is still 85% for Eon, so this Uber is going to be effective in about 10 seconds. It's a very nice opening shot there from Junu on to Warped, and that means he's going to back out. Sylv's immediately capitalizing, taking that extra little space, and it's Sylv's now onto the Soldier, not quite feeling the scout. That's the change-up that the Buccaneers are attempting to keep themselves in this round. Junu now finally ringing true onto his sniper opponent, Andy falling, and now the Buccaneers have control.
Yeah, they do. It feels like maybe for the, one of the first times this game, or at least in quite a while, that they do actually have control here. They have a controlling position. Just not quite connecting the shots. Not quite comfortable, not quite hitting it. That would have been so crucial. Uber does get used now. It is going to be a trade. We do see Smile trying to do everything they can. Andy hitting a crucial shot on Junie. This is going to make things really difficult in this post-Uber fight. They do at least manage to trade things out, but with Six going down as well. Oh my god, Alien is just nuking right now. Even with Patchouli dying, this really isn't all that bad for the side of Pint. It's a total wipe. You can see them just delaying the cap here because they don't want to delay Patchouli on the respawn. They know what's going on. They've played the game a couple times, so they'll be waiting for that respawn and then go for that all-important cap. So there we go. Point once again in the hand of Pint Gaming. Their heals will be forward fast enough. The clock is still ticking down, but this is basically the opportunity you want to try and take if you're the Buccaneers. If you can go for an off-Uber fight here, that is so crucial. And that first headshot onto Smile, an important combat class, is going to open things up for them. They should be moving all the way towards point. That frag towards Warp is fantastic. Just need to be aware of Andy on this long sight line. Surely they know at this point. Surely they won't let him do it.
Yeah, hard scoped up, not finding the shot. Eon ducking behind the rock just in time. So now Andy, once again, is going to continue to sit on this sightline, but he must have been called out. It's a dangerous peak to make. But Junior on the other side, sitting on the rock, is just trying to scope out literally anyone. But everyone hiding behind a wall makes it so hard for him to find much of anything. So Andy, once again, has superior sightlines, but not quite clicking. Finding the headshot, sees just a glimpse of Eon. It's just too tempting to go for it.
Oh my god, dude. Mac is really playing with fire right now. Smile's getting aggressive. Ubers are going to get traded once again. Smile being so happy to try and walk forward, trying to get this frag. There's two shot into Mac is going to be huge, and all the way towards Juno as well. The second frag is very significant. We do lose a couple players on the side of Pint Gaming as well, though, so it is a little bit of a scrappy fight here. Alien with a follow-up, though. This is going to be very, very solid for the side of Pint. Warp on a big bomb doing huge damage, just not actually managing to secure the frag zone. This is getting a little bit scrappy right now.
Sylvs has an excellent bombing opportunity here. In onto Patchouli, eats a lot of damage, but just manages to stay alive. Sylvs not committing, and Eon is taking his back to the enemy sniper. It's a lot of damage there. Very lucky. That's not a headshot. But you can see the blue health bar is not that high, and so they have to back off onto Cliff. But this is now, once again, peeking into the sniper of Junu, which still does not ring true onto the enemy medic. Eon, though, just falls to the bomb of Warp, gets hit by a beautiful rocket from left. But is that enough to stave off the aggression? Patchouli, massive advantage, and Junu falling to the sniper.
Oh my god, this is all about individual plays right now. The clock is still taking down for the Buccaneers. Let the jump all the way in, not quite securing that frag. That would have been so, so crucial. And now that Uber is in the hands of Pint Gaming. They don't have control over point just yet, but they will surely get it now.
Oh.
There we go. What a headshot rings out. But they actually managed to force off the Uber. This is actually really, really significant. Forcing the Uber here is so good for the Buccaneers. 10 seconds left on the clock. This is basically going to be an equal Uber situation. If they can try and off Uber, push themselves onto point, get any frags, this is absolutely enormous. Losing Junu's not great. I'm going to be real. They need to be aware of Alien playing this aggressive. But okay, they need to take a minute. They can breathe. They have a few seconds to play with this. They need to get their players up. Any frags they get here is so, so important.
Yeah, that kill to Junu and onto left is a bit unfortunate, but you can see now the forward hold does come out. 22 seconds left on the timer for map number 1 for Pint, and it really just falls onto Junu. Once again, scoping forward to cap, and then 10 seconds holding would be a lifeline for the Buccaneers here, but they need to find it ASAP. The timer running low, and the soldier bomb's now coming up high. It is a lot of damage onto Andy, but expertly surfing it out means that both Sylvs and Bloke will go down. It's Warp, but Junu finally connecting a shot onto Patchouli, and that means now Pint Gaming are without a medic. They still have control of the point, and Bloodsail Buccaneers cannot let it go. So the Uber will come out onto Andy, and he is low, but he will survive with his teammates around him. And so now the Buccaneers, they're going to capture this point, and you just have to hold, because the counter-aggression, neither team has Uber, and Andy's still up. He's still lurking, and he can still find a shot. Smile already onto the point as the soldier bombs are coming through, but it's Warp taken down in the air by Junu. The rest of the team, however, is falling. It is Sylvs, Bloke, and Sail all taken down, so Mac must do it. All Alien finds a kill onto Eon, and it is not enough. Pint Gaming 3-0, and they break the Bloodsail Buccaneers.
Oh my god, absolutely brutal there. It was so close right at the end. There were so many little opportunities for the Buccaneers, but they just didn't quite manage it. That is an absolutely wild, wild game to lose there. Oh my god.
That is such a close final round, but my god. We're going to throw it over to a desk basically instantaneously. We need to catch our breath. The knockout bracket here of Überfest 2025. Pint very clearly took away map number 1 of product from the Buccaneers, and they have to respond if they want to stay in the upper bracket.
Yep, 100%. So this is going to be Buccaneers seeing what they can do. It's actually walked on the initial aggressive bomb, not committing to the frags, and we are just about combined to find some players. First 2 frags are in the hands of the Buccaneers, and he does manage to get one back, so not too bad. Great little surf from Eon, but slammed into the dirt by Warp there. But ultimately, after all is done, Soki is the only remaining player, and Leth doesn't even care. Not bothered. Fine, you can live. Tell your friends what you saw here, because the Buccaneers are back in the game.
That's absolute heroics there from Warp, getting that kill onto Eon. I actually really like that we got to see Eon's beautiful surf.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Shut down.
And
it didn't matter.
It was great, and then you died.
Yeah, and then you just died. So now we're actually aggressing very early on, in onto second, taking a lot of damage here. Actually, Bloke falling down to spiral bombing across. Now back on soldier duty. We're no longer running a perma sniper. So Smile can play his real role, but this now means that the Ubers have effectively equalized, right? You can see both teams about 50%, and now with Pint Gaming already established on second, it's been quite difficult here for the Buccaneers to sort of push in, get a sidespoil advantage. They're looking to go through alley, but this is going to take them a little while, I think.
I mean, it's a classic, right? You know, if Viaduct mid is held and you're pushing forward onto second, do that thing where you go Valley and then you like jump one or both of your soldiers really high off the wall. It is like an absolute classic thing done, I believe, in every single div. It is just such a like how Metalworks has played 101. And I think we're going to see exactly that. So Sylvs is getting a big buff. We do see some stickies on the high ground, but Cloak is well, does get really deep, doesn't get denied too much at all. What a great little surface. Somehow is lit. Hello? Can we shoot him? Like at any point? What? How do you allow that?
That is insane! What a misplay from Pint! No one near Patchouli! And that is a mistake that can cause chaos. That is the momentum that you need for the Buccaneers, because look at Eon. Just sat in back in alley, and with 2 soldiers respawning, this now, huge advantage. Of course, massive rockets from left, but you have to feel like that is Pint dropping the ball.
That is actually ridiculous right now. Okay, so Buccaneers, they do still have to convert. Second walk does get in. Great first rocket here. Does manage to force off this Uber onto Eon. He's taking a long time to get cleaned up as well. Only now are they getting that frag as they try and move forward towards Point. The headshot from Andy onto Mac. This is disaster. The rest of Pint Gaming, they're already playing towards last. They were playing a little bit safe here, so they will be conceding the second point, but this really isn't too bad for them at all. Maybe just about. Buccaneers can be trying to get that cap. They will. The repush can happen from Pint Gaming if they want. Alien is trying to go aggressive through this doorway, combining onto his player on the right-hand side. Cloak will go down.
Oh, wait, did Sills in on last? No one's there to stop him. Just a singular soldier. Shoot him up into the air, and I think that means that 4 down Pint Gaming do reply, but that flank from Sills now actually keeps the rest of his team alive. It lets them back out on second.
Straight
Stops
up.
that meat grinder fight. It looks so good for Pint. Oh, for the Buccaneers, rather, right? But they are just, like, losing players, bleeding in, trying to push forwards. Really nice pipe there from Mac onto the enemy. As they're trying to push forwards, they have a bit of advantage. Actually managed to find the kill onto Mac. Eon's 80%. That means he's back on second, and I think Pint regained control.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit sad losing Mac there. I'm going to be real. Uber is now in the hands of Eon, so they should be able to hold this mid at least. But with Mac, it would be just that little bit easier. But there we go. Equal Ubers now. Pint Gaming do seem to be a little bit more on the aggressive, you know, peeking into that lobby area, but not quite seeing the opportunity. I think they just took that moment to realize, okay, it is equal. We'll play it as such. We'll get ourselves set up, you know. Sometimes you do just want to lower the pace that little bit. And it looks like, once again, you know it, you love it, it's Metalworks. All the way towards Valley. I mean, we've seen this before. Surely they can't do it again. Silves is all the way in. This time combining onto the scout. But that's going to be it.
Yeah, it's a singular kill there onto Warped. Unfortunately, he was the one who stood for the rockets. So now with 2 soldiers down on the Buccaneers side means that we're just going to see immediate aggression from Pint as Soki runs in and with Patchouli kills everyone in the combo. So Juno gets flashed and Uber that will not accomplish anything, forced back onto second. And so that means now Pint finding themselves with a massive 100% Uber ad, 2 players down, including enemy demo, and they're going to take second for free.
Yeah, nice little air shot. I love how it didn't make any difference at all. Absolutely didn't matter. Junior's on the backlines getting an all-important 1v1. That's a good frag. He's actually going to be dragging some of these players back. What a sick little surf there as well. Surely, okay. Does get cleaned up by Warped. That will delay things just that little bit. Maybe just buy, you know, the Buccaneers a couple seconds to get themselves set up towards last. Only now are they getting a gun. This is going to be difficult because Uber is coming all the way in now. Alien trying to find this gun. Should be able to take it down relatively easily. Players are moving towards point. Oh my god, the double parachute. What can you do against this?
Double parachute is so strong. You see the other kill onto Smile, but now both soldiers are actually taken down, but they deal so much damage, and the Pint completely lose the positional advantage that they had at the beginning of that push, because that gun was only a level 2. It came up
Andy?
oh late.
Andy?
But
Andy?
is just
Andy? All the way on point?
You are not looking at him in the 1v1, however, thank God, it is Juno that saves the round. So we're back on second, everything's fine. We have 100% ad. Push on to second. We even have a kill to work with. What could go wrong?
Oh, don't say that. Can't believe you just said that. Warp's on high ground in a really good position. Uber's actually getting forced immediately. That is such a good force for the soldiers on the side of Pint Gaming. And they're actually going to escape with their lives as well. So quick to get away. The sniper on forwards does take one shot, but then going for the back spawn. Ultimately, they don't need anything else at this point. That force is great. They're happy to concede the midpoint for the sake of forcing off that Uber now. They're 90% on their own. Sills playing this high ground position. Just take a lot of damage. They will be forcing him back. Now, the dream for Pint Gaming is to try and push forward, get some control, maybe a frag, ideally without having to use it. And they're doing great, fantastic damage onto the side of the Buccaneers. Looks like Mac might be going down. What a crucial arrow from Eon. That is such a scary position. He will manage to escape.
Now, it's the Buccaneers on 75, right? So they can potentially try to hold this second. Uber's going to come out through Patchouli, and it is just straight in onto the enemy combo, who have scattered to the wind, as the Buccaneers are sort of dispersing and regrouping, with the Uber coming out for themselves, as Leth corrals the entire enemy team into alleyway, just keeping them, luring them back. The Soldier respawner is going to clean him up, but everyone else on Pint is out, and Sylvs onto Andy, shuts him down. Lots of damage onto Eon, and that means that the Uber is forced out, but Alien is low and will get taken down. So now, can you find anything else? This is a very low scout who is going to get out alive. Smile, though, is on the back cap. He won't get anything, but now he's alerted the enemy to his presence. They are just going to come out straight for him, but he can just distract, and it's completely fine, because look at the Ubers. He's also out, by the way. Oh my god.
Funny map, funny doorways, funny hallways, you know? There you go. Yeah, Smile managing to live. There we go, opens things up a little bit for Pint once again. It's about kind of 30-35% advantage. This is definitely enough to push off of, and it is definitely enough to posture. You know, the dream really would be just to try and walk all the way through here. It's going to be so difficult to get all the way towards this combo. God, dude, Patchouli went so low there. The force does come out. Just about combining onto that frag. They do get positioned towards point. Ubers will be in the hands of the Buccaneers in a couple seconds. It's kind of unfortunate timing for them. Yeah. They're just that little bit slow building, so they can't get the Uber to go for that immediate repush. So they are pushing out of last, which is a little bit riskier.
This is scary for the Buccaneers, to be honest. You were just walking on a tightrope. Mac already eating so much damage. If he goes down, the round could potentially be over, even if you have the Uber ad. So it is just going to come out, and you can see Pint Gaming running away immediately. Warped underneath is going to take a lot of damage. He can't go for any sort of play. Just gets taken down. Soaking now as well. And so suddenly this push is mildly successful here. No Uber on the side of Pint means the Alien's alone in-house, and the Buccaneers are surging forwards. They have to get in onto Patchouli before his counter reaches 100. So he's going to sit back in-house with 2 players down. You have to retreat to the low ground, but the Buccaneers are taking as much space as they can. Yeah, they're really going to try and get some position towards point. They're going to make it so difficult so that if Pint wants to come in, they do have to use, and that is exactly what will happen. We see almost this entire Uber actually kind of being used on Junu there, and that's a very reasonable trade. We'll have to get more. I feel like the Buccaneers kind of overstaying their welcome right now. This seems... My God, they were in very aggressive positioning, just that dude, Andy doesn't want to stop. Unaware! We don't turn around. Left is just... Unaware! Okay. We got it. HP. It's all good. We are down 2 now. No soldiers are up, which means that you can't just go in straight away. Young does not have. So if you push this ASAP, he won't have an Uber. So Sail up on the sniper is going to have to find a headshot onto Alien and instantly taken down. That is a medic peeking a corner that you cannot take, because a soldier now a Warped is going to come in, try to kill the enemy medic, but Junu is on the shotgun Bootis. Dude, I love that. I love that so much. The funny thing is that is the objective correct weapon. Yes. Like to be on for heavy just there, because the minigun spin up time, that's actually just correct. I love that. I love me some Fat Scout coming forwards. Now it's a bit of a big advantage to the Ubers. I cannot believe that the Buccaneers are actually trying to play this. So the trade is going to come out. A lot of damage onto Patchouli. Actually, this post-Uber looks a bit scary here. 4 Pint Gaming is all of their health bars are low, but Sylvs is equal to 0. So Vita's going to flash his name on the screen. Hello, Vita. Hey. But the trade comes out, no frags really being found, and so instead now it's Mac up on 25%, and that is just a Warped on point, uncontested. Bloke is taken down with Eon falling to the pipes from Alien. This is now the Buccaneers struggling to hold on, because Soki is dealing a lot of damage, and the enemy team can regroup around the medic and heals, but it looks like they are just going to choose to stay back, keep the advantage, and push for the killing blow. I'm actually going to kind of massively shout out Warp there. Like, it seemed like such a funny just I'm a jump on point play, but it actually dragged so many people. It focused so much attention towards point and actually got so much time that they had no choice but to play on point there, which obviously allowed such a distraction. So yeah, no, Uber's going to be in the hands of Pint Gaming. This really should be their round to lose at this point, you know? We do still have the funny parachute, so Wan, how do you play against it? The Ubers are going to come in. This is a level 2 gun being built right now, and Andy's just instantly onto the point, gets spammed, but just not fast enough. Sticky's not dead, and that means that Andy can run onto the point completely for free and take round number 1. This is Pint Gaming up once again. Eon had an amazing serve, taken down by Warp there, so that means... Buccaneers, I feel like they had opportunities there to push with advantage and win a round. Unfortunately, not quite finding it. It's really nice mechanical plays coming through for both teams. Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I feel like that was such a hard-fought round. That was one where, like, both teams really got, like, pushed to the limits. But ultimately, it's going to go Pint Gaming's way.
So they're going to be that little bit more confident going into mid 2 right now. We are seeing aggression, dude. I love how Andy just doesn't care, just literally fears not a single player on any server, I think, at this point. First frag is going to go their way. Does look like it's going to be going down as well. Dude, Warped actually having quite a low-key big mid there. Just getting those 2 important frags, and that's actually all they need to win the mid.
Yeah, it's really nice from Warped finding both of the kills, and as you say now, it's a 2-player disadvantage here for the Buccaneers. They are sitting on second. They will have at least Sail up for the fight, but you can see the aggression coming in. Skills!
What?
That is a disgusting shot onto Viethoofd, completely eliminating the advantage, and Pike immediately press their W keys as they try and get the serve, the force, successfully onto Eon. But where are his players? Everyone else is dead and low, as that is Warped on the high ground, hitting rockets and shutting down the Buccaneers. Heroics from Sills and a disgusting shot onto Patchouli, but it's just barely enough to keep the team in the round as everything is still crumbling.
That is absolutely wild. I love how I feel like both teams right now, like there's so many ways where they're playing great, and there's so many ways where they're just kind of getting picked apart. They're that perfect combo of like, what the hell is going on? That is, yeah, no, dude, that was kind of huge from Warped in a lot of those situations there. I have no idea how he lived. I don't think he knows how he lived.
I don't know. It's about 30% advantage here for the Buccaneers. 20% rather, I can count.
Ooh, numbers.
Which means that we're fully in stalemate position here, as 20%
spinning
is not enough.
No.
On Metalworks, especially pushing out of last, something you preferably do after you wipe the enemy team. And anything but that is a bit of a risk that you are committing. So the Buccaneers are going to sit back on last. Juno up on the sniper, hoping to be more successful than he was on map number 1. Early damage onto the soldier, at least so far, is decent, but the demo is going to start peeking. A very weird angle here for Juno. He's watching far away. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one of those positions where, you know, Pint Gaming being on the more aggressive side, looking towards the Buccaneer last, they can kind of do a little bit whatever they want. Yep, Soldier is going to be jumping on in. Dude, I love how the response to seeing enemies. Oh, great work by Sills, picking up Alien.
Yep.
Actually,
this is pushable.
Does Sills want to go for it? Has Sills been not okay? Just about been spotted. Okay. Scout class has seen us, that's fine. We can go for the aggressive sniper peeking. But no, I do think it's genuinely funny how like the immediate response when you see an enemy player towards your last is, I'm a soldier, I'm just going to go sit in the skybox with my funny parachute and just try and make things as annoying as possible. It's actually the kind of thing where, like, when you think about it, is just ridiculously annoying.
This is now both teams spy checking at the same time.
I love that.
So I wonder if Silves actually does see properly that Soki is electing to go for the spy play here. Takes a little while to set up, and there's 3 minutes left on the round timer before we just reset, go back to middle. But it should be enough to set up the spy play, but...
okay, no,
okay,
they are aware because Junu's going for like the wall hack play.
Imagine.
Dude.
Okay,
dude, we are so aware. We are so aware.
You can even see Warp goes for the sack play at the same time while the spy is creating the distraction, but Bloke is just hovering across. It looks so funny. I know
so
players
dumb,
hate
dude.
playing against it, but from a viewer perspective, I love the parachute.
Yeah,
I forgot the weapon existed.
Literally, from a viewer POV, I can guarantee there's like an entire demographic of people being like, dude, it's such a dumb weapon, like they move so slowly, how do you not hit them? But that's how you can't hit them, because they move so slowly.
Yeah.
It like ruins your brain like falls out your butt.
Yeah, and also like you expect them to go down, but you can like parachute up, parachute down, and then you can like stagger your fall. Okay, Judo gets a bit aggressive there with a peek. Well, he is able to find that kill to stave off the aggression. Still even Ubers for both sides. But the kill with the sniper, maybe perhaps this is the time Pint Gaming to get a bit more aggressive. You can see them posturing already with their soldiers, but you're taking so much damage just walking in here is walking. The upwards to Rex actually relatively successful. It actually does manage to pick off the sentry gun from Sail as well. Bounce kill onto Warped and a headshot onto Andy. Should stave the aggression off for now. It's Smile straight in onto the point onto Eon. Doesn't connect with any rockets. Sail is actually just kind of farming crit.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, this is like value for money Frontier Justice right now. Ooh, Juno, what a little crack shot there. And does he want a little bit more? Maybe not. Maybe
it's still just one hit, right? It's so hard to actually peek that. Pushing out into Metalwork second when you don't have a huge advantage is so scary. So you kind of just have to let the enemy team walk into lobby, remind them you have a sniper.
Just like, hello. Hello, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm just going to make things a little bit annoying.
Minute left now on the timer as well. So this is beginning to become go time for Pint Gaming. 13 minutes left on the match timer as well. But the Buccaneers still, I mean, they can run down the round time and go back to mid, but they still have to get around themselves. Uber gonna come in onto Alien, gonna find a sentry gun and not much else at all. Gets the Uber Force out of Eon. Comes out quite late, but no one really dying on either side. And Pint Gaming gonna have to dry push this. 30 seconds left. We're gonna set up this push. Warped with a very nice early rocket on to the enemy of left. As now it's actually Mac taken down super low, but does manage to find the kill of Smile. Does not get bowed out though. And so now without a demo, it is warped onto the point, and you have to play this with your life because the Stickies are not doing anything. The Fat Scout cannot find the frags. Instead, it's Andy and Soki against the world, and maybe they like those odds. But Sail with the 3K has to stop Andy with his own, and he does manage to find all 4. It's 7 seconds left, and Smile is nowhere near. So we're going to go straight back to middle, because Smile's going to jump in, and there's a little bit of cap time. So we do actually let Sail get a 5K.
Just, you know, just for the vibes, just for the vibes. Okay.
I like that. We're being nice to Smile. Or to Sail, right? We're not being nice to Smile.
We're being incredibly mean to Smile.
Yeah.
Dude's got fragged like 7 times.
He's Danish.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Yeah, dude, imagine.
Ostracized. That's such a beautiful, disgusting shot for himself. We didn't quite see what happened to get him in that position, but I imagine it's something of like bombing into yard, or into alley rather, and shooting up the medic, and then getting shot up with him, and hitting the rocket as you're kind of flowing.
It's like the alley-oop into a Dragon Ball Z. That is like...
It's like a self-alley-oop.
Yeah, a self-alley-oop. Dude, that's what I'm saying. All right, this is third minute, right? There we go. Another little opportunity here for the side of the Buccaneers. You know, maybe things are starting to work, maybe not. We're not really sure. First frag to the good, but to Pint Gaming, they have this position on point. Yeah, dude, the Buccaneers are just nowhere. Like, it's one of those mids where you're just like, oh, do we stand a chance? And then you lose a couple, you're like, ah.
So now you're down 2 players here. You can see the timers are 10 seconds as well. So Pint Gaming really can't just push in through alley here. This is a bit scary, as Sylvs is going to go for the counter bomb, is going to get called out, so immediately has to call it off, but is going to eat so much damage, and he'll just get taken down by Andy. So now you're down another player, and Pint can just continue pelting you and force you all the way back onto last even Ubers. But I think the result really is just going to go straight away. Trade's going to come out, and that is Patchouli excellently surfing away from Sail, who doesn't even manage to get the force. And suddenly, this was an even Uber situation. It was completely fine. We tried to take that trade, and this is now a disaster for the Buccaneers. We're all lost. Enemy team has Uber. That's not good.
I'm gonna be real, that was kind of a dog Uber. Like that was really one of those where you're like, oh yeah, we're going for the trade, and then it just kind of sucks. Uber does come in now. Mac is just living his best life. He has sticky bombs on the point, I suppose. The enemy team doesn't really seem that bothered about him. I think he has been spotted just about. I believe he's gonna watch all his friends die from such a fantastic POV. Max in! And it's not enough.
Yeah. Okay. How'd you say this nicely?
Go on, say it. say it not nicely, it's fine.
What are the Buccaneers doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. That whole like kind of, oh yeah, we're gonna trade Uber in a second, but you gotta walk through like 3 doorways to get there. And then you, like, I don't know, like it just seems so optimistic going for that. Like you're just not set up for it at all. It's just such a throwaway Uber situation, and then suddenly you find yourself just standing no chance at all. Like, that seemed really optimistic.
I appreciate the KDA saving. Like, Max just sits on lamp and AFKs while the rest of the team tries to fend off the push. But also not quite successful. It's an early kill onto Warp once again. Blow for the really nice bomb in. Actually, a lot of damage dealt onto Pint Gaming, but they're staying alive for now as Patchouli surfing forwards beautifully from a bomb from Sylvs. But the cleanup is coming out for Sail. It's alone with Eon, and that means that they're going to back off. And once again, we are leaving mid with neither medic going down. And even Ubers on second. The red second.
The red second, that is true. I mean, this is almost feeling like the start of a little bit of momentum for the side of Pint, because, you know, I mean, they're 2 rounds up. There's a lot of game left in the game. That is true. One of the undeniable truths of life. But also, with Pint already having a 2-round buffer, you know, the more that timer ticks down, the more they're going to be happy to, you know, play a little bit more conservative, a little bit more safe. You know, they're still going to be, you know, wanting to get some more rounds in, you know, assert some dominance, all that kind of stuff. But really, the ball will be perpetually in the court of the Bloodsail Buccaneers, and they need to actually kind of make something work. And having something consistently work without then making a mistake, it's just not been happening for them. Like, they've been losing players in really dodgy situations. They've been making some slightly questionable team decisions. Yeah, they need to find some way of just, I don't know, shaking things up and just kind of changing the entire narrative.
Yeah, they need to find some kind of rejuvenation, and they kind of need to find it now if they want to stay in the upper bracket. Early bomb is going to come in from Smile. Not going to find any picks. Done a lot of damage to himself. We try to take a lot of space here, do Pint Gaming, but they survive. It's actually not the end of the world. Time to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
It's giving the Buccaneers nothing to really re-aggress on. You can still see how Pint respecting the opponent, backing off, making sure they're full HP before they try peeking again. But they have time to kill, as you say, right? 8 minutes left on the clock. You're up 2 rounds. Ball entirely in the Buccaneers' court.
Well, this is the thing on the side of Pint Gaming, right? Like, so they're the ones with rounds up. They're also the ones aggressing, and they're going to be the ones aggressing again, right? It's the kind of thing where, for as long as you're the ones aggressing, really, eventually, something will work, right? Like, if you just slam enough things against a brick wall, eventually the brick wall is going to, like, falter, and it's going to be all about Buccaneers finding some way of actually capitalizing off that. They do manage to get 1 frag this time towards Warp. That's pretty good. We do see Flo going aggressive towards the flank. He's been spotted out, though. It's going to make things incredibly difficult. The rest of the combo on the side of Buccaneers, I mean, I guess they're trying to go through Valley. Are they going to try and send a sack of their own? That's probably the best opportunity that they can kind of take. They really need to combine on some frags, but the spawners are going to be up. They're going from a low ground position. It is just so difficult.
Mac is really pelting the opponent with damage here as well. Really nice position in Valley, but unfortunately, there's just not really much to follow up on it, right? They have no positioning on mid.
No.
So
like,
forced
yeah.
to back off.
Well, that's it. It's like, you know, if you get a bit of damage there, other than Mac hitting like 2 pipes, like, how do you follow up on it? I guess maybe if you hit a pipe on a medic, you can deep bomb a soldier, but that's about it. So, you know, they've got to go for it, but also it is just a difficult spot. It's one of those kind of just, you know, difficult aspects of this map. That angle is just very, very difficult, but here we go. Smart does jump in once again, not looking for that full commit. Is going to be ducking away a little bit to try and just draw some eyes, draw a little bit of attention. Alien hitting just a little bit of damage. And here we go, frags once again. First one, going to go to Buccaneers. Uber has got forced out, though. Even getting 2 frags off that is not good on the side of the Buccaneers. Sail really trying to get aggressive, trying to walk forward. I don't see really the rest of the team with them. Only now are they combining. Uber has been used by Patchouli now, right now, and he's going to be trying to chase all the way. There's like 5 players in that one room, and I think maybe Wisely just backs up at this point. That frag's significant. The damage is actually really, really significant on the Buccaneers. They're managing to keep them just about out of these doorways. Sail does get cleaned up right at the end. It's turning into a very scrappy little fight here, and you can see the Buccaneers getting caught all the way towards his hallways, and Eon desperately tries to survive. Not quite connecting.
It's a singular kill to onto Warp, but it is such a poor consolation prize. It starts out so nicely and finishes pretty decently with a kill onto Patchouli as well, but they sacrifice so much for it. And so now the Buccaneers are all the way on their last. Once again, Pint are going to get Patchouli up as well. They're going to have a slight ad. We don't really think it'll matter much because we are on Metalworks last, but Sniper rather up now for Sail, because you know that the quick aggression from Pint can come out with you being down, and that's Eon electing for a crit. We are trying something else, because you have to look at the round timer now, right? It's 5 minutes left until the map and the series go the way of Pint, and you need an answer, and you kind of need it fast. This crits is kind of the last hope of the Buccaneers.
A little bit, yeah. You can see them getting aggressive towards the second point. I guess they want to try and get control of second. Actually, they've done a lot of damage. This is really good. Potentially a big bomb or some kind of frag here on the side of Sylves. Just about manages to get one before getting cleaned up. A little bit difficult here. Uber has been used. This is going to be so difficult. Andy's trying to get through this little doorway. Going to be trying to get forward onto this combo. Actually, not managing it. Crit is about to be up. Oh, please. Please, can we have a good crit?
99, it's Scout crits in. Unfortunately, not finding that much. It's 1 kill to Andy, but the rest of Pint scattered to the winds here. There's still 3 down, though. So this is a lot of push that can come out of Buccaneers should they choose to. But unfortunately, Sail has to turn around and see that the rest of his team cannot run as fast as a Scout. Unfortunately, Mac taken down by Alien as well. It's a beautiful rocket onto Warp that shuts his aggression down. But with left on the low ground means that he just gets taken out. The crits is nowhere near completion, and Buccaneers are scattered everywhere, not in unison. And that means that Pint Gaming can clean them up. It's Sills bombing forwards, cannot find the kill onto Patchouli. So the rest of Buccaneers are just going to collapse. They get wiped on mid as they try to push out. This is Patchouli, 80-90% Uber, sending it straight in onto last, and I think they're looking to take the series.
Yeah, 100%. They're just not going to care at all about anything that's going on. The only possible option here is this Sail Sniper desperately trying to look towards his doorways. Any kind of early frag, anything would be so crucial on the side of the Buccaneers. But Pint Gaming, I love how in all of the momentum getting so into this game, they're not letting it fall away from them. They're waiting for their spawners. They're getting those buffs. They're not rushing things. They know they're in such a commanding position, and all they had to do was take that minute, and there we go. Left-hand side Uber has been used. Andy walking all the way through. Gun has been spotted. Should be dealt with relatively easy. We're going to be focusing onto this heavy right now. Just about managing to get that frag. It is Alien actually losing their life. Mac and Blow combining onto these two so important players. Somehow they're keeping control here. Smile. Great rockets. Absolutely nukes Mac.
He's uncontested. He's going to run in. There's three players looking at him, but the cap time is so huge. Andy does not quite find the shots onto the enemy sail. Takes him down, but just barely. And that really slows down momentum. Buccaneers, they have one breeze of momentum. You have to just ride it. You have to push the pool now. You don't have time to wait. And so that means that the Pint is going to re-aggress. And if they get any sort of hope at stopping this ball rolling, it is so good for them. Early damage, though, onto Soak. Does fall quite low. Buccaneers have to keep pressing. They just have to keep going. If they lose, they lose. Silv's going down early. Uber comes out. A lot of damage onto the enemy demo man. Alien is falling, but that is Scouts shifting everywhere around him. It's Andy running in onto the point, uncontested. The enemy demo man is not healthy enough, but the taunt gets him picked off by Junu. And so the Buccaneers are holding on, but look at the aftermath. Oh my god, no.
What the hell is going on? Junu gets the second cat. So, hello?
And we're gonna not lose to
Mac.
Lose to Soki, but Mac dies also to Sticky.
Hello? Wan, help.
I'm trying to like do the maths in my head of like, are we dead time?
Physically speaking, maybe. I mean, okay. All I'm saying is Pint Gaming's about to get their Uber. So surely anyone playing close is going to find themselves getting nuked pretty quickly. Yep, I think that may be everything that's about to happen. There we go. Yep. Four players down on the side of the Buccaneers. Pint Gaming.
It's like actually dead time now.
They're going in. They're getting an Uber. They're getting onto last. This is going to be your opportunities for air shots. Oh! Yeah, that was an air shot. That was an air shot.
That was technically in the air. Love it. All right, Pint Gaming. 3-0 in the end. That looked quite close for a lot of it, but I feel commiserations to the Buccaneers, man. Like, falling to the low bracket like that is just not how you want to go. Like, and I think like this is as harsh as it is to say, it like completes the arc of like. I feel like the Buccaneers are fully broken now. They come into this, they're like, okay, but there's no coughing group stage, and we're really good at product. But then the product is also just completely broken.
Yeah,
like,
go on.
They lose product 3-0, they come into this, they're unable to really convert much of any advantage that they actually end up getting even. Losing that as well, and it's just, it's a bit sad. They go down to the lower bracket, they're not eliminated quite yet, but this is now, they need some kind of intervention, I feel like.
In the nicest possible way, they now cannot afford to make any mistakes. As the team that has historically this land made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, and it feels like one, yes, it's the team macro plays are not quite going their way, but equally just individually, like, they're just not where they were.
No, it's if you were to show, like, if you were to take all the name tags off and to show like team and like team then and then team now, it just looks like completely different creatures, like a completely different thing.
And you see the instant disconnects as well. Actually, they are.
That is I've deleted everything. I have unplugged all of my peripherals. I'm gonna see you guys in a minute.
But yeah, congratulations, Pint Gaming, of course, taking the win, taking revenge. I think they all fancied themselves a 4th place, at least, at ETF12, and they're sort of making that work so far, stamping their name as sort of the outside contender, maybe a little bit. We saw them play for the first 20 minutes of their granary game against Witness. They played Witness closer than any of the other teams did in the tournament.
They were actually hot. Like, that first, like, minute and 5-second round was actually hot for the side of Pint Gaming. They did things no one else has done this event so far. Like, I feel like theirs is the kind of, you know, a hell of a story for the LAN.